New folks to the group?
Yes, this is Philippe Omredan, also from NextB, like Dennis, and I'm also the maintainer of a tool called ScanCode and a bunch of about code tools, and the creator of Package URL. And my interest in joining the group is that we're considering, and I'd like to drag in the Package URL community to join this technical committee to standardize package URLs under TC54.
Absolutely fantastic. Welcome, Philippe. Any other new folks to the group today?
Well, I'm new, but just an observer, and I introduced myself in the chat. Mark Simons from Fujitsu.
Welcome, Mark.
I missed the first official meeting December 14th, so I'll speak up. Matt Rakowski, IBM. I'm now again with IBM Research, and I've been in and out of working on various things in CycloneDX and CBOM working group and the 1.5 spec on manufacturing BOM and things like that. And look forward to working with you all.
Very good. Welcome, Matt. Anyone else that is new?
Hey, I'm Vinod. I'm attending as an observer as well, helping CycloneDX with the outreach activities.
Yep. Welcome, Vinod. Lots of new folks this time around. This is great. I'd like to see this. Anyone else? I think we covered everyone. All right, let's go ahead and get started. The first order of business was to adopt CycloneDX 1.5 as a base specification. This was a recommended activity that that Dennis suggested that we do. So basically, using the existing 1.5 documentation as a base in order to build the 1.6 specification on top of. Unfortunately, Dennis is not here today, so I'm not sure of the procedure to go forth in doing this. Maybe Samina, did you have any guidance on adopting a base spec first?
Typically, we would in Ecma want that you work on a consensus basis. So if it is agreeable by all, then you should be able to move forward. There is somebody missing, so what I do not understand is how relevant you would like that individual's input to be in order to adopt. But if you have no opposition, and as a consensus, the committee wants to move forward with that, you may.
Okay.
So are there
This
any
is for
oppositions?
Ecma members as well, right?
Correct.
All right. Ian, using 1.6 as a base, yay, nay?
1.5, you mean?
1.5, sorry. Getting ahead of myself.
So I'm going to defer to Keith as our primary stakeholder.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, that's yay for me.
All right. Bloomberg?
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
I was here. Yay, as well.
Okay. Let's see. IBM.
Yay for me.
And it's a yay for ServiceNow as well. Jan? OWASP?
Yep. Let's go with that.
Okay. All right. Very good. All right. So I think we have consensus to adopt 1.5 as a base specification. There are, we originally planned to review 3 things during today's meeting. However, we're only going to be reviewing 2 of those. We were hoping to get the cryptography support to a specific state before this meeting. That was unable to happen, but we will have it into a complete state by the next TC54 meeting. So for today's meeting, we will take a look at the attestation support as well as the source distribution to external references. I also will pose a question to the TC after both of those are done. In terms of the new standardization process that OWASP and Ecma have jointly worked on, the attestation support that's been led by ServiceNow, by Lockheed Martin, by Observer, I guess, from Contrast Security, and a few other organizations. That has now passed the OWASP core working group, so we have consensus, and this has been now promoted to TC54. So, in terms of a Samina, what is typically the process? Is this normally a call for votes at this point?
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, I will also give you one other information, then I'll come back to that question. It is also important that the members that are on the committee that are going to be participating, as you all want to work in a royalty-free environment, I have already reached out to you individually. If you would please remember to complete your royalty-free and send back. Sorry, this was a reminder. Please, Steve, would you ask me that question again? I had a bit of a noise.
Yes, in terms of the standardization process that OWASP and Ecma have jointly worked on, the attestation support, which is the first promotion request, that has been approved by the CycloneDX working group, core working group, and has been promoted to TC54 at this point. Would it normally be a matter of business just to call for votes at this point?
So is it part and parcel of 1.5, or is it independent of 1.5 that you just voted?
It is going to be part of 1.6.
Okay, so then you may do another consensus if everybody's aware of that, and then it can be promoted to be part of 1.6 if everybody's agreeable to it.
Okay. Lockheed Martin.
Yay. Yay for Lockheed Martin.
IBM.
Yay for IBM.
Bloomberg.
Yay.
OWASP.
Actually, I didn't quite understand what we are currently voting on. Could you please explain again? Sorry.
Sure. We are voting on the human language version of the standardization pull request that is currently in an approved state right now and which is complete.
And it is in an approved state within OWASP and the CycloneDX community, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
The human readable version for 1.5.
For 1.6 attestation support. So we're looking at the pull request, only the human readable aspect of the pull request for the attestation support.
Actually, I've seen that and I've read all it, but I wasn't aware that there was a human readable part in it. Which one?
Just look at basically take the JSON schema, for example, and look at the documentation. Just the documentation property. That's basically what we're voting on.
Oh yeah, then for me it's a yay.
Okay. All right. Yay for ServiceNow as well. So yeah, I think we have consensus to move that to approve the attestation support now. So thank you for your support for that. Like I said, the cryptography aspect is we didn't get it to a state where we can approve it today. It should be in a better state during the next TC meeting. There was a minor feature which I'll pose a question to the TC after we take a vote on this. But there was a minor feature added to our support for external references. We are adding a new external reference type called source distribution. Proceed with a vote on this. IBM.
Can you come back to me, please?
Sure. Bloomberg.
Sorry, this is to move to put the cryptography promotion to the next meeting. Is that, am I understanding correctly?
No. The source distribution is complete. The source distribution is basically, for those that maybe have not read the pull request yet, it's basically a way to, in the bill of material, to say, well, this is where you can get the archive, or this is where all the source code can be pulled from, but it's not necessarily it's not necessarily in version control.
And similarly to the first question, the attestations, this has been, reviewed and approved by OWASP and
Yes.
the CycloneDX
Yes.
meeting. Yeah, and to be included in 1.6.
Yes.
My understanding correctly? Okay.
Yes.
Yay as well. Thank you.
Okay.
And this, just one quick, this was added by Siemens, who requested this, but I think there's broader applicability.
Yeah, I know the Apache Foundation also has interest in supporting this, as well as others as well. So, okay, so that was a yes from Bloomberg. OWASP.
Since I worked on that personally, yeah, totally.
All right, Lockheed Martin.
Yay for Lockheed Martin.
Okay. IBM.
Yay for IBM.
Okay, very good. So we have consensus that that we will approve this for inclusion in 1.6. Again, thank you for your support for this. Here is my question to the TC. At what level of granularity should we be concerned with? And we've got, like, for example, we've got a major feature such as attestations that absolutely should be approved by the TC, right? It's a big chunk of documentation. It's a big feature. It certainly warrants a lot of stakeholder agreement. The last item on the list that we just voted on, adding a new type to an existing feature, that feature being external references. I think we have like 30 or 35 external references already. This is one extra type. Does the TC want that level of granularity?
Steve, maybe I guess a question on that. Would you consider that maybe like a patch to the specs versus a minor update to the spec? Just trying to figure out where the delineation would be between something that would be sent over to the TC versus something that's not. I'd say maybe like adding an additional enum mod type is maybe more like a patch to the maybe 1.5.1 if that exists. I don't know. Versus 1.6. Is that how you're maybe phrasing it?
Yeah, exactly. Like, like I said, we've got attestation support. We've been working on cryptography. There's some other new features and changes, for example, that we are currently working on that aren't necessarily these big features, but are certainly changes to the spec. I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about things like this. I mean, if the TC wants this level of granularity, I have no objection to it at all. what would be a good use of the TC's time is kind of really the question. Again, external references are something that has existed for several years. This is one additional type.
Would there be a way to package them together, Steve, so that there were maybe, a set of smaller changes to be reviewed, to give it a little bit more meat, or to just simply put them out for visibility? I think it is nice to have visibility into it, but I don't know if we necessarily need to vote on every single one. And the third comment I would have would be nice to have some delineation so that we know, which one of these are the big features like attestations ahead of time, that we have more effort to review those and really put some meat into the reviews on the larger features versus something that's a small change like this.
Okay, that's good feedback. I will make that. I'll put that in the meeting agendas going forward. That way you can focus on the things that matter the most. So it sounds like that there is thanks, Alyssa. Sounds like there is a desire to have visibility of this for the TC at least. So I'll keep on bringing these smaller type issues to the working group. And then I will delineate like what are the major features versus, some of these minor changes in the agendas going forward. I didn't honestly think that we would get through all this today, but we have 7 minutes left. So I guess I'll open it up for new business at this point.
Steve, this is Samina. I'd like a clarification.
Yep.
And I may have missed it. You all, what will you do with the cryptography? Will you want to bring that in? When will it be ready to be able to come into 1.6?
I'll bring that to the next TC meeting.
Okay. Is it your expectation, or is the committee's expectation, to bring 1.6 for approval as the first edition of the standard?
Yes, the documentation for 1.6 should be complete by the end of February, at which point we can vote on that and kind of move that forward.
Very good. That's just a reminder, as we have this 60-day period of approval and review, and we have a 60-day period for the opt-out with any IPR issues. So 60 days, and our voting is typically in June. I think the date is actually June 26th. So if we work backwards, if you're ready by the end of February, first week of March, you'll have plenty of time to go through that process. Thank you.
Got it. Yep. So what that really means from an Ecma perspective is the documentation for 1.6 needs to be complete by the end of February. By the end of February is kind of what we're shooting for. So the documentation is a subset of the JSON and XML schemas that we currently work with. Just so everyone knows, we are using the JSON schema as the source of truth. It's kind of the container, as you will, for all of our documentation. And we can generate human readable documentation from the JSON schema. We are currently using an Adobe project to perform this task for us. This is something new that's part of our build process at the moment. Currently, we are producing both JSON and XML documentation. However, we do have a new target for documentation specific to Ecma, and it just spits out Markdown. That Markdown will be converted into PDF for eventual distribution as an Ecma standard. But when we review these things, it's really just the documentation aspects that we are reviewing. not necessarily the implementation being the JSON schema or the XML schema. We have about 4 minutes left. Philippe, perhaps during the next TC meeting, we can have a little bit of a presentation on package URL, kind of where you see that fitting in with the TC. And because as part of the TC, it is our charter to look at related specifications, and package URL certainly is a related and highly valuable specification that we would want to take a look at.
Okay, definitely. I can spend 5-10 minutes to make a quick presentation overview. And now that we're starting the year, I need to also initiate the discussion as part of the folks that work on package URL. I don't think it will be an issue. I mean, a lot of folks have been asking for governance and standardization. I tend to have a do it as late as possible kind of approach.
I think you'll find that the standardization process that Ecma and OWASP jointly worked on, I think will meet the needs of the package URL community quite well.
Agreed. Thank you, Steve, for that statement. Yep.
Yeah, I wouldn't be there if I didn't believe it in the first place. Was not convinced in the first place. So, thank you, Samina.
Okay.
Very
Steve,
good.
before we end the
yes.
meeting, will you just to confirm with everybody the date of the next meeting, so it's all agreeable to everybody? Same link, just to make sure it's good.
Same link. I have that as January. Let me pull up my calendar. January 25th, same time, same place, same Zoom URL.
Yep.
Good?
Yes. Great. It's great.
Thank you so much.
That I've seen on chats or emails in person. Like
Indeed.
Ian
Recordings of this will eventually be published on the CycloneDX YouTube channel, much in the same way that we publish recordings for our feature working groups, which the two current feature working groups we have are the attestation working group and the cryptography working group. We have dedicated playlists for those in the CycloneDX YouTube channel. Our plan is to, well, it's already out there. We have an Ecma TC54 playlist as well. Once I publish the first video for that, which would be, I think, this video, that playlist will be visible to you. So feel free to share that recording with your colleagues and whatnot as well. So with that, we can adjourn. Have a great rest of your day, everyone, and I'll talk to you all soon. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.